And I believe that we should be live now.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are live with
It's amazing.
Room
Curran is
302
driving.
Studio. I'm driving here. We got EJ in the house. And
Hello.
this is hopefully going to be a more of an interactive discussion. So I think there are ways, if you're listening in on YouTube, you can join the audio and chat with us in real time. And that would be a cool part of this session, maybe towards the end. But to kick us off, I can sort of do a short presentation on what VizHub is, where it's at, and maybe how it could be useful. And feel free to interrupt
Yeah,
me
I'm,
and
I'm
ask
going to have lots
questions.
of questions along
Yeah.
the way, I think, if you can have patience with that.
Yes, I am totally open to questions. This is why I'm doing this. To get feedback, to get questions, to understand the desires of potential users and potential customers, um, and just make
Can you,
VizHub better.
I actually don't know the answer to this. Like, what was the first seed of VizHub? Like,
Oh,
when
love
did
it.
you do the first commit, or like, what was the first day of creating it?
Love it. Well, if actually I wanted to before this, I wanted to find some screenshots of the early versions. There's been three big versions, and they're all based on the courses that I've taught with Worcester Polytechnic Institute over the years. And in the VizHub forum, there's a link to all of these. And it all started when I was back in San Francisco in like 2015.
So, welcome everyone.
And this is the first custom tool I built for teaching, which lets you just skip through these really short D3 examples. And then I went down this rabbit hole of like, can I make this thing editable? Because originally it was just a bunch of slides, essentially, with code examples that run. And I'm like, I want to make this editable as like a teaching tool. And then I want my students to be able to edit this code. So it's really easy to step into coding and start playing around without those barriers to entry of like setting up a local development environment, getting Git going, installing Node, and all that stuff. And so it really started as a teaching tool. And like Data Visualization Course 2018, here are a bunch of videos and examples where it's like line charts and maps and stuff with pure D3. And if we take a look at some of these, this is an earlier version of the VizHub editor in use here. Yeah, check this out. This is version 1.
Huh.
And
What year is this?
2018.
Nice.
So this is it looks so almost like clownish looking back. But what I wanted to do is like emulate my experience of using Vim in Ubuntu, which is my
Mm.
preferred place to develop, and I'll get into like a Zen mode. And so I even copied the font and the styles and everything from Vim and just made it work in the browser. And so the
So you're
idea,
mostly building a tool for yourself
yeah.
at this point.
And it all started because I was using Block Builder, which Ian Johnson's amazing tool for editing things that were on blocks.org as GitHub gists,
Right.
which is all vanilla JavaScript and HTML. And the problem that I ran into with that is that I really wanted to use ES modules, which at the time, like what, 20, was even before, I don't know, 2018. I'm like, we cannot be doing development without using JavaScript modules. So I'm like, I'm just going to build my
Yeah.
own system that supports ES modules, and that's sort of the core of this. See, you can import, even in this version, you can import from local files, like import color legend from color legend.
Yeah, and you're importing like the sub parts of D3, right? Like you're not
Exactly.
importing the whole D3 library to get, a couple
Yes,
scales.
exactly. So if you see the imports here, well, this is a pattern that I've used over the years. Is like it is pulling in the whole D3 bundle, but we're doing the unpacking of the imports at the top. And part of it is also like I had been doing client services for years leading up to teaching this course, and I had sort of gotten to know these certain patterns that worked for me and that I really preferred. Like I have a strong preference for unpacking all the imports at the top instead of saying D3 dot this and that. And so all these patterns that I sort of built up over the years from my client services work, I wanted to embed into my teaching and into the tools that I use for teaching. So that's sort of the origin story. So that's the 2018 version. There's a Dataviz 2020 course on YouTube, which has got really popular. There I had a haircut.
It's cool to see the evolution of you and the interface both
Oh
together.
yeah, dude. A crazy, funny rabbit hole. I lost a lot of weight at some point, and in some of my videos I look super skinny, and now I gained a lot of weight and I look a little fat. So it's like you can see my personal evolution over time as well. And this
Everything
is
cycles.
in 2020. This is VizHub version 2, and we can see the UI here. I had hired Stamen Design to help me. I did most of my client services work through Stamen as like a subcontractor for years. And I eventually hired Stamen to help me with the UI design. So this is version 2. Alec Birch, great, amazing designer at Stamen,
Oh yeah,
designed,
Alec is awesome.
yeah. So he designed this interface. And I went down a rabbit hole of custom colors to optimize readability and get the contrast just right. This is what version 2 looks like.
And you did a whole new course on this new version.
Yeah. Yeah, and this version supports React as well. So I got really into
Got it.
I became what you might call a React head.
Right.
Like my brain got poisoned by React and I'm like React is the way. And I
Fully
get,
React
a lot
phone.
of people get like that with different frameworks. Um
Sometimes, well, especially so it can go good or bad because you have to do that with D3,
right.
right? Like if you try and use D3 and try and like you have to like adhere to the religion. So some of the frameworks are like that. Like if you don't stray, everything will go fine.
Exactly. So here it is. See, like we're building up we're making a map with React.
Are you doing the JSX
And
like
so
in the
it's like,
back?
yeah, everything is in JSX. And I think I even made the classic mistake of like building my own axes with React
Yeah.
in this course. And now I know better, but back in the day it's like we must do the React way.
That's fun.
So anyway, that's 2020 and then I have all these new ideas have been stirring in my soul of like we need to get the Brett Victor um what's that video called?
Yeah, I know exactly what
Inventing
you're
on
talking about.
principle. So like I want to manifest inventing on principle from Brett Victor.
I agree.
And so this is when I was super skinny. Ha. This is the 2023 this last year's version. And I started narrowing in on the patterns that I wanted to use for the next major version of VizHub, which is all about this unidirectional data flow concept. And so here's one where like I built up a spinning globe, and it's still using VizHub version 2, but it's using these patterns, sort of like these Rosetta Stone patterns that will enable hot reloading, which I think is sort of like a holy grail of DevX, developer experience, where you make a
Yeah.
change, it hot reloads. And if we could get that hot reloading like instantaneous and real-time collaborative, like that's where I wanted to get to, and that's where I finally landed with VizHub version 3, and it's live and it's working. So that's when I'm gonna get a demo.
Sweet.
But this
So it's got the ability to like go in and change numbers in real time and move things around and
yeah,
not have to like save and refresh and
exactly,
all that.
exactly. And so this is the latest and greatest, which is currently being developed. I'm in the dead center of my what seventh or eighth time teaching this, and I'm doing all fresh videos on the latest version of VizHub. And we built up like a solar system, which is super cool. As like,
I saw some of your students dropping some cool versions of that
oh yeah,
in your course.
oh yeah, and this is a great segue. So there's what 19, 20 videos, 21 videos here, and we're getting into responsive visualizations, and I'll be making maybe 20 more in the next two months or so. And then um, VizHub and YouTube have sort of become interlinked too. They really work well together. So in YouTube, I link to the Viz. A thing in VizHub is called a Viz, by the way. And here it is live. And you can see forks, and you can also star a Viz and see who starred it. But one of the coolest things is that you can see the forks. And so this page shows all the forks
Oh, that's really cool.
of that solar system. And this was an assignment that I gave in this year's course. And I'm like, use SVG gradients or change it to visualize some other data. And so, this is some student work where they made like stars and they used gradients and like they made a
They made it
ring.
look really. I like the
Yeah,
ones where they made it really different. Like it's like a super different form, but with the
right.
circles.
See, here's one where they visualized some other data. And this is what I wanted to get at with this is like you could use circles to visualize data. And these are like what, top 5 IDEs? VS Code, Visual Studio, IDEA, Notepad++. Really? Notepad++. But anyway, it's super cool. And then you can go to someone's profile page. And then in the profile page, all the works by that person are sort of collected. And I really like this one, which was like the hello world of SVG. And my theory is that this level of detail was only possible due to the hot reloading. Because see what this is, how they did it? It's a bunch of data for each of these individual shapes. So let me actually fork this example and show you what I mean. So if I fork it, it says fork
Yeah, can we
successfully.
animate some of them?
Yeah, like if I hold down Alt and drag one of these, it moves the thing in real time with hot
Yeah, that's
reloading.
cool.
And I had no idea that this would be the demo, but if I share this with you in Discord, you can come in here. And let me just pull this off the screen.
In the top right, if you do the chat, you might even be able to do it in full screen.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There it is. Show chat. Oh, the Inventing on Principle video. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, let me bring it back. We're still sort of flexing our live streaming skills. So in full screen, you can view the chat. And thanks for sharing that link. Just so for anyone who is watching and doesn't know.
Yeah, I think it's super important to pay homage to our roots, right? Like when
Yeah,
I saw this video in like 2011 maybe or 2012, I don't know, 2012, like
yeah,
me and Ian saw it and we're like, "Oh, this is what I want to do." And like I've spent like the past 10 years trying to accomplish the things that Brett Victor called out like in
yeah,
this video. So this is super important to the work that I think all of us are doing.
exactly. And he's got some really good examples of like, where's that one with the
Yeah, the one where he grows the tree
this
is
one,
the put it right. He like
this one.
starts it from zero. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. This is also like one of the most influential things. It got me into like observable and like this sort of like literal programming stuff. I
It
had no
made
idea you
such a
could
Nice.
huge
do it.
difference. Yeah, totally. Well, I think there's something about this, like, I don't know, he like raised the flag in a really effective way. Like I've always, not only the content of what he's saying, but the delivery of it was so inspirational of like, he really like made his point in such an exceptional way and made the prototypes to like prove it out, which I don't know, I'm always inspired by that approach.
Totally. So like the idea that he's showing here is like you can drag to change numbers and you can get a color picker in your editor. And when you make the changes, it is instant. That was like the theme of this video. Instant feedback is a principle that he's trying to.
Well, it's also hard to remember, like 10 years ago, you'd have to Command S and it would save, and you'd go to your browser and hit Command R and it would refresh for a second, and you'd see your
Right.
change, and you did that like a million times a day, right? And that
Right.
added up, and it like
Oh yeah.
the difference between that and this was night and day. And I think it's a little more commonplace now, right, to have things be more reactive. But this was like it's probably because of Brett Victor that that's the case, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So let's use this one. This is a cool editor demo. So I could say share collaborators.
No, bring me back to the dolls.
Oh, you want to use the
I want
dolls?
to go to the dolls.
Okay,
Yeah, what are
let's
you
do the
doing?
dolls. All right. So I can add specific people, like if I search for EJ,
Yeah, I want a green doll.
you're there, and I can actually open it up to anyone to edit. But this has bitten me in the butt because if I leave this on, random people come in and start editing. Oh look, okay, Izzy's there. Sweet.
How come my greens aren't greening?
We got anonymous. You might not be
Oh,
logged
I might
in.
be anonymous. Let me log in.
Oh, and
It's
you
'cause I'm
have
in
to hit
Safari.
you have to manually run it with Shift Enter or Control S, and that will
Roger.
trigger
Oh, okay, got it. That's what. Got it. All right, I should be logged in now. Hey, there we go.
Nice. Okay, we got a
So, can I
green.
make a loop? Can I make like a timer loop that
Well,
updates the ellipsis data?
um,
Like, what are we in right now?
let's try asking the AI. Make
Oh, okay.
a timer loop that changes ellipse data. And actually, let me move this down. If you press down Alt and down arrow, it moves it
Whoa,
down.
that's pretty sick.
And
So
like,
this is Code Mirror running under the hood?
yeah, this is Code Mirror 6. And that was a big reason to rewrite the whole thing because like version 2 was on the old version of Code Mirror, but Code Mirror 6 is way better. So I redid all the real-time integrations and stuff on Code Mirror 6, which is sweet. It is absolutely
Yeah,
sweet.
Code Mirror has a really nice ecosystem too of like helpful. Like I just saw Valtown released a few plugins like for
Yes.
extending comments and things like that. So it's nice to live in that ecosystem where people are all making text editing on the web better together.
Totally. And that's what enabled these integrations. Like, see, if I hold down Alt and I click on the color, we get a color picker. And you see that one thing over there is changing in real time as I change the color.
Got it. So if you do the Alt click, that gets you real time, but otherwise it's Shift Enter.
Correct. Yep. Alt Shift on colors will do the real time updating, and also Alt drag on a number gives you the hot reloading. And I tried to make it as fast as possible. And if the code is simple and small, it does actually reach like 60 frames a second, which is crazy. But as the
All right. Well, speaking of 60 frames a second, I want make me have the robot make me a loop.
yes, so here's a comment, and if I click on this Start AI Assist button, it will call out to GPT-4 and it writes code directly into this thing. And so it did it, and so it's going to change the data every second, but it's not going to actually.
This is fun. Can I talk to the robot?
Yeah, talk to him.
Make a looping timer using request animation frame that changes the CX of the, what are they called? Ellipses.
Oh, nice. You were able to trigger it. That's great. Okay, cool.
Not really.
So like,
Kind of.
so is the AI that's the language model that's responding to EJ? Is it yours current? Like, is it running on your account or is it his account?
Oh, it's my account. It's the VizHub account. It's using. Oh, let me turn my video back on.
Oh, like the
It's
the
using
platforms.
it's using OpenAI's API for GPT-4, and it's all running in the back end.
okay.
It's in the back end of VizHub, and so it's hooking into the real-time collaboration infrastructure as though it were another person in the session. And so when you click AI
Okay.
Assist, it gives some information to the server of like, this is where the cursor is. Please fill in this stuff. And all that prompt engineering is actually open source. And this whole editor itself is open source. It's called VZ Code. And I've been working with
Yeah.
students to
I mean,
develop it. Go ahead.
hopefully you don't mind, but like I'm comparing it to like observable. Like in this case, observable requires you to like bring your own API key, but
Oh, yeah.
VizHub
Right.
provides the backend, a language model like built in, right?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't require that you bring your own API key. But it is a
Sick.
paid feature. So in January, I launched this paid plan, and the AI assisted coding is on the paid plan, which you get for, $10 a month at the moment, because I need to pay for the generations, right?
Yeah.
But you get unlimited generations and also private vizzes and unlimited real-time collaborators and larger limits on uploading data. That's what the paid plan is right now. But I had thought about making like a limited number of generations free just so people can try it out. And the hot reloading is not perfect, so especially if you're doing animation stuff, we may need to do a hard refresh to get it to go.
I think I broke everything, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh
You
crap!
might need to take a. I don't know what I
Oh, it
did.
did something. Yeah, is there an
They
infinite loop?
changed their mustache colors.
That's fun.
Oh no! Hope it doesn't break my whole streaming setup. Is there could be there an infinite loop in there? I don't know. Yeah, page
Oh yeah, well
unresponsive.
I did do that request animation frame loop that goes over every shape, or yeah. So maybe.
In theory, it should be fine, but I think we may have run into one of those cases where
Yeah, sorry about that.
it
That's
breaks
on me.
down. No, this is like a recurring issue, and students have faced this as well, and it actually crashed my server. Because if you have an infinite loop, like a while true, um, which can
That
happen.
makes sense. That is what I just did. I made a loop, like an animation frame loop.
I mean, the animation frame should be like debounced. Like, I don't think that would cause this crash. But if it's a synchronous loop somehow, or I don't know, maybe.
Mm.
Wait. It's not.
Anyway, I'm sorry for ruining the
Uh,
dolls.
it's all right. I think I'll just close this window
Yeah, I think that's
and
probably the
move
best course
along.
of action. Yeah.
So some other
I
things
do want to
yeah.
experiment with how to do animations, though. If you could show me the right pattern to do that, because that is
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, it harkens back to the map we made. What is that? Open oceans or hope in the open.
yeah, the World Conservation Society, Hope Underwater.
This is a
Yeah,
good case
exactly.
study for VizHub because this code actually originated in VizHub. And by the way, there's a great shout out to Room 302 Studio.
Yeah, this is Sam Vote's design.
Sam Vogt and EJ and I worked on this project, which is for and I always get the name wrong.
The World Conservation Society, I
Yeah,
believe.
World Conservation Society.
WCS, I know that for sure.
WCS. It was about coral reefs, and EJ did
Yeah,
this
so they
cool.
wanted to show the locations of a few coral reefs, and we had this really awesome spinning globe at the end of it.
Yeah, so
I think
at
it's
the
like
bottom
the
here,
kicker.
there is a really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Oh, the live streaming is a bit laggy, but it's cool nonetheless. You can see sort of it's like a sci-fi vibe. Um, Shout out to EJ
Oh,
for the
hello, Dom.
idea.
Hello.
Hello.
How
Oh,
you doing?
someone joined.
Thanks
Hello
for
there.
joining.
Thanks for having me.
Your audio is a little low, but we can hear you.
I don't know why that is.
It's cool. So you said, Curran, that you had like a VizHub sketch before
Yeah, so
this?
this implementation was straight up lifted from an implementation I did for my course, which is listed under the Create Viz page. which is another page I wanted to showcase. But this has the index of all the things I made in my different courses. And one of those, actually, I hope it's in here. The spinning globe from 2023. Oh my gosh, did I miss
We
a
just
whole...
added search though, right?
Yeah, good call. Globe.
Just put it out
Spinning
there.
globe. There it is. Spinning globe. And this is a reason. I mean, I did a lot of different spinning examples, but this is the one.
Listen, we're always making spinning globes. Everybody
Yeah.
wants a spinning globe. Let's
Like
be
about
real.
every year, I come up with a whole new way of implementing spinning globes. But this is one of my course videos, and this is the pattern, the Rosetta Stone pattern that makes interaction and animation, in theory, workable with sort of any framework. So in our case, we exported this into a Vue project and then invoked this exact code from Vue. And you could do the same. You could wrap it in a React component or a Svelte component or whatever framework comes along. And the pattern is you have a function that takes as input a DOM element, which is a container, and then these two things, state and set state. And this is inspired by React, but not dependent on React. And so state is like an object that keeps track of all your stuff, like the rotation, for example, and also the
And
data.
WCS were actually really kind and let us open source this project. So I just sent you the
Yeah.
Vue file if you want to maybe want to look at how you moved it from
Oh, yeah.
VizHub to Vue.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's a huge part. Like whenever I'm prototyping in a tool like this, there's always the portion where you're like, all right, now I want to use it for real. Right. So
Yes.
I was really delighted in the way that came together, like just the way you were able to just pull it and put it into Vue in a way that made sense.
Yes, exactly. And I want to make that, for what it's worth, that's what one of the frontiers of VizHub is. I want to make that super easy and straightforward to get things out of VizHub and into your real world projects. And what I did initially is I just clicked on the button that says export code. And when I clicked on that, it downloads a zip file with the source files. And you can take a look. I can take a quick look and see, like, it's just got the files, as they are. And I essentially dropped all these files into a subdirectory, I think that's how I did it, in this Vue project. And it's like, all right, how do we set up a Vue component that invokes this spinning globe? And we define state and set state in Vue using all the Vue ref infrastructure. And I have another example for React, because set, state, and state are totally compatible with the use state hook from React. So you can just wrap it in a use effect, and then the viz becomes a side effect, essentially. But I digress.
So it's like well, it's just I understand half of that because I come from Vue, right? So it's like you're kind of
Yeah.
like finding the Rosetta Stone to go between Vue and Svelte and React, like all in the same without, I don't know. Maybe is
Yeah.
that right?
No, that's exactly right. It is a Rosetta Stone kind of a pattern that supports hot reloading critically. And it also supports different frameworks. I'm trying to find the React. It's like D3 Vite starter. React starter. You got so many repositories, I can't find anything.
Yeah, GitHub makes it really. I'll like know the exact name of the thing I want, and I don't know which org it's in, or like.
Here it is, Vite D3 template, and I did a video on this as well, and I think. Oh, this one does not use React, but this is like a peek under the hood of what VizHub is doing internally, and so I want to add options to the export button that says like export as a vanilla JavaScript project.
Yeah, this is just vanilla JS. This is no
Yeah,
framework at all. This is just you like handling your own state and rendering and all that.
exactly. And it's like a dead simple way
Yeah,
of
it's
dealing with
like yeah,
state.
you can't.
It's almost like too simple. I almost feel like, am I missing something here? Like people say it's a complex problem, but like this
No,
is super.
JavaScript rules. We should
Yeah,
be like I keep talking about this. Like our tools have gotten really cool now. Like it's kind of
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is Vite, and Vite, if
Yeah, Vite is
just in
magic.
case you don't know anyone viewing, Vite is amazing, amazing front end tooling that I use now for all my projects, and it's the basis for the Svelte starter, I believe. And you can have a React project. Like this is the go-to thing nowadays, and it used to be Create React App, and also Vue. I believe all the Vue technology is built on Vite. And I think Vite was created by the
Yes.
same guy as the created
Yeah,
Vue.
no, it's all in the same ecosystem. This is the same back to our original,
Yeah,
circling back on what we were talking about, like joining a religion, right? Part
right.
of like joining an ecosystem is really fun and interesting. Like I think I've done that in Vue and Nuxt and Vue use and Nuxt UI, and like there's this whole world of people. I just like the way those people work together so much better than the way React devs work and
Yeah.
think in their community. And I was just like a different kind of vibe and sense there, and like it just I feel like the people making it care about me as a developer. Like they want, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's something. Just a
Mm-hmm.
different approach based around joy, where I think joy is more like, yeah, let's get hot reloading. Let's make it really easy to plug things in, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. And Vite does support hot reloading. So back to this example, this is the implementation of set, state, and state. And it's super simple. It just passes the previous state, and you use immutable update patterns to produce the new state. And this here, right here, hooks it into Vite's hot reloading. So all the code you write in VizHub, when you export it, will literally work out of the box. I mean, that's the vision. Right now, there's a little legwork you have to do, but the templates are there. I need to document them better, but it's all working in a Rosetta Stone kind of way. And
And then
so,
how much of it is open source? Like, say if I really wanted to get like a Vue part of the Rosetta Stone working, is there a place in GitHub where I can contribute that? Is that part like closed source and then the editor is open? I don't fully understand like what parts
yeah,
of VizHub are open source and aren't.
yeah, totally. The editor is open source, and it's called VZ Code, which is kind of a play on VS Code, but VZ because it's like Viz Code.
Love it. Viz Code.
And
That's what you should call it. It's like SQL.
yeah, exactly. So it's VZ Code, and I have this amazing relationship with RPI, Rochester Polytechnic Institute, right down the street in Troy, New York, where these students are part of this open source course each semester, and they work on this as their class project. And so there's all these contributions from these amazing students. I mean, there's been a ton of work that goes into this. So yeah, my strategy, my like open source strategy, is that, which is quite different from some other products, by the way, is that the editor, the thing that you use to author the code, is open source. But the runtime environment that makes this code actually run in the browser with hot reloading, that part is closed source. However,
Got it.
it is compatible with Vite. It's inspired by Vite. It's almost like a browser-based version of Vite
Hmm.
that I've sort of built up over time. But it has some additional features like importing across vises, which I'll get to in a second. But I just want to close up this thought. Whereas, if you export code out of here, you can export it to a Vite project that supports hot reloading. That would look like this. So it would be like this template plus the source code of whatever viz you're exporting. And then here's the React template. And see, I started thinking about all this 2 years ago. And if you see the app, app is just this, and there's a thing called viz, uppercase V, and here it is. The simple beauty of this. This is what the wrapper would look like for React. That would let you call the viz function that you define in VizHub today with vanilla JavaScript. So it's a ref to keep track of the DOM element. It's a set state, and state, just use state initialized to an empty object. And then it's just a side effect.
Interesting.
You know, and this all works. And it supports hot reloading because this project is built with Vite. And Vite React has a specific integration that enables hot reloading for React. And so this is cool. And then finally, circling back to what brought this up, is the Vue integration. And so maybe you could narrate what this does. It uses a ref, which is Vue's reactive mechanism.
That's Vue's reactive. So yeah, anytime you change the value of that ref, the DOM updates or any of the subcomponents update without you having to define it. So like I think you just like translate your set state into the ref essentially. And yeah, we define. I don't know what the emit is about. But
oh, we wanted to get interaction to surface out of here. There's something unrelated.
Right, because it has a box that labels what's being shown on the globe.
Right,
so you need to emit the currently shown thing's data so that you can render your little table underneath your globe.
Right, and this is a perfect use case, you know, where you can use the vanilla
emits
code.
What it's looking at.
Yeah, and whenever this specific value on the state changes, it will emit a Vue event, which you can integrate with the other Vue components. And then, we wanted to we moved some computation into this level.
Just on load, it finds the centroids and like gives the globe what it needs exactly. Its rotate amount.
Yeah. I'm looking for the thing that calls the actual viz function. Or maybe it's all just right here.
Well, it's all just reactivity in the ref, like because in globe we're being reactive to whatever the state is. Yeah, exactly.
It's here.
Exactly.
This is it. I think we went through a number of refactorings on this one. This was a great like proof of concept, in my mind at least, for the validity of this approach for supporting different frameworks.
You do it once by hand and then figure out how to automate it. Show the robot this example.
Exactly.
Do more of this.
Check it out. Here's the lowercase g globe component, which is the exact code exported out of VizHub. And it works. See, container,
state.
you're
just modifying state.
Yeah. And it uses D3 for the DOM manipulation. So the overall vision is that you can use VizHub as a collaborative editor with AI and the ability to import across vizzes and like to iterate fast, and with the hot reloading, use it as an editor for just the small pieces of your project that have Dataviz in them, such as the spinny globe part of that WCS project.
So how do I do an animation?
Oh yeah, well the spinning globe has that. It's just animate with request animation frame, and on every animation frame, you just call set state with an updated version of the state. But the trick is to kick off this loop only once. And so it's not.
That's the piece that made everything go haywire before.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you know, honestly, this is something I have yet to fully work out. I mean, I have faith that it will work out, but I want really robust patterns for doing animation so that you can change something inside of this loop, and it will work with hot reloading. Like this pattern here doesn't do that.
Yeah, see, that's what I want. Is I want to like play around with.
Yeah.
Animations where I'm like tweaking the variables.
Exactly.
Or like maybe another thing I do a lot is like force layouts, right?
Oh
where I'm tweaking the parameters of the force layout. I don't know if you have examples of that, but that's like another place where I want hot reload a lot.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to do that. I mean, I'm planning on doing that for my course this year, is to like take one of these force directed graphs. And I'm so thrilled that search is working now. You can search for things and
this is awesome.
You can find things. But like, yeah, some people over the years have done really nice work in here. It's amazing. Totally amazing. be a little overwhelming, that one.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of different tabs that are very demanding.
And you can embed, which is fairly new. So let me show, let me just quickly show that. And this is for like, I'm imagining use cases where people have like a CMS, like a WordPress blog. Oh, by the way, sneak peek. I'm developing currankeleher.com.
Nice.
Finally
Nice.
making a portfolio site. But
That's awesome.
I was testing out the embed here, and it seems to work. Like responsive bar chart. This is a WordPress page, and the embed is here. And it works. And it's responsive too. So like if I make it small.
And you were saying that the data updates as well, right? Like if I went in and updated the data for that embed, it would update all the embeds as well.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly right. Let me show you how that would play out. So this is a branded embed. I can link, I can click through and go to the actual viz, which is this bar chart here. And it's responsive, and you can open it full screen. And you can respond to resize. This is something that version 2 of VizHub did not have, by the way. So you can do like really responsive
That's cool.
stuff. But the way that it imports the data, yeah, check this out. It imports these responsive axes from a different viz, and at the top level, it imports from it imports the data from a different viz. This and this is a, I think, a killer feature that I have yet to see, you know, have it fully realized. And once we have organizations, it's going to be amazing. But I can import from
Yeah, and I want to visualize the graph now. Like,
oh
I
my
want to see
God,
the
yeah.
meta dependencies too.
Yeah, we got to keep track of which viz imports from which ones, and then like, yeah. So I want to be able to go to this. I need to make this clickable too, so you can quickly.
Yeah, in VS Code, you would option click, and
Yeah.
it would take you to that.
Yeah, we got to
right?
get that going in here. That'd be sweet, and it's not too far off. That would be possible. But this is one reason that the runtime environment is closed source, because it has to hook into a lot of things. So if I
We
go,
should do a whole hour where you teach us about Code Mirror and how to
yeah.
go in and make modifications to Code Mirror, because I feel like it's such a useful tool, and like what you're describing, like it's such a cool idea. Like being able to have an idea around the way you use your editor and implement it really quickly is really interesting to me.
Oh,
Yeah,
and I can't tell you.
That would be really sick.
Yeah, I can't tell you how pleased I am that I bite the bullet and did the refactoring, because it is so easy now to iterate and add new features, and there's a great ecosystem around CodeMirror 6, and this is the open source piece of it. And I wanted to just show you this one file called get or create editor, which has all the CodeMirror integration in it, and this is totally open source, and it supports Svelte, which is huge. And we got Matthias Stahl using it, and it's amazing. I gotta show some of that.
What do I gotta do to get Vue in there, man?
Yeah, so
I'll do
that's
it
the
myself.
next step.
Just teach me how.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's open an issue right now. Vue support.
Yeah.
There might already be an issue because it's on the roadmap. Like, I want to do it.
I will do it. I just don't know how.
I will assign this to you, EJ.
I don't know how.
Come on, figure it out.
Okay.
I don't know if you wanted to like move to another topic, but like what I was wondering is, since you're making a lot of this open source, like what's your experience so far, like managing this big open source project, right? Because you have like students coming in, and presumably some of them want to like participate in improving this.
Oh yeah, it is kind of a lot of overhead, but it's great because I don't know, I've worked in client services a lot with different teams, and I have kind of a sense of how to manage projects, and the one thing that makes it a little tricky is that these students are mostly totally new to JavaScript, so they're sort of going into the deep end. But the way I do it is I have this Kanban board where I go through and prioritize all the issues, and then I ask the students to self-assign to see what they're interested in, and then twice a week we meet all together, um, and we review pull requests, we do stand-ups, we do like almost like Scrum kind of thing. We use Discord,
yeah.
and it's
So,
in
like
it's
like
in
how
the
it would be in like a real team.
yeah. I pretend like it's a real team with like full-time employees, but they're students, so they're kind of chill. Everything is chill. Like there's no pressure. I'm like,
Yeah.
work on it if
No,
you.
but that's so invaluable.
Yeah,
As someone who hires people, like
Yeah.
that's like I feel like a thing they don't teach. Like they can all do these crazy like code exercises, you know what I mean, interview questions, but
Yep.
like when to do a poll review or like how to like self-assign a ticket, like that's what really is helpful to actually do this work, I think. So that's really cool.
Oh yeah, and
Right. Like,
they're
you get
learning
all
a
these
lot.
terms and stuff.
They're learning a lot too. It's like I think it's a win-win. Like I just did a pair programming session with someone yesterday, in fact, where we solved an issue, and he was like, I don't want to commit my changes. They're not done, and I don't know if they're like acceptable. And I'm like, dude, chill out. Just like commit
Yeah,
whatever changes
That's the
you
name of
made.
the game.
Commit whatever changes you made. Make a draft pull request. Oh, you don't know what that is? Okay, well, that's just when I can see work in progress to advise on the direction. Things like conversations like that. And then
Yeah, that's sick. Wait, so like
yeah.
how do you get your students, or like?
It's this thing called Arcos at RPI, where I have this great relationship with the professor that runs this program. It's a course. Oh, see, and they build all their own tools, which maybe is why it's down at the moment. But
Wait, so like people pay to be in like your courses, right? For the
so it's like freshman, sophomore. It's like undergrad students that enroll in this course for credit. And the course is work on an open source project. And last semester there was like 300 students and about 50 projects going on at the same time in parallel. And the Discord for this thing is insane. It's crazy busy. And they have external
Yeah.
partners, and people come from like IBM to like have students work with them on their open source cloud infrastructure things. And then half of it is like
Yeah.
random tiny little student ideas. They're like, let's make something new. And there's one cool project with like a bus tracker. I wish I could show some of it, but they're great people. And I have to pitch every semester where I go give a presentation. I go to RPI in person. I get up on this stage in front of people. I'm like, visualization is cool, man. And like do a whole performance and try to win them over. And then they have to opt to work with me instead of someone else. But this semester I got like 12 students working with me, which is crazy. And half of them don't know JavaScript. So I'm like, okay, guys, let's like pair up, the person that doesn't know pairs up with the person that knows. And it really improves
Yeah, that's crazy. So they got super lucky like working with you, because you're like really going through like a real like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's real.
Project.
And it's become a serious mature project now, which I mean I've been working on it for a couple of years now. But like here's a perfect example. Let me show you one just quickly. I wanted to have it automatically run prettier after the AI generation finishes, because that was a usability issue. And I worked with a student. We did pair programming for like an hour yesterday and figured out how to expose, React details, but how to expose the prettier function to the AI widget to get it to run. And at the end of it, he was like, dude, you just totally blew my mind. I learned like so many things right now. Like, thank you so much. So that's sort of how that goes.
That's awesome. And are you like you don't capture that though? Like that's not live streamed or anything.
Well, I did live stream a couple of them. And I
Okay,
have
cool.
thought about doing that. I should do that. I should do that more often. But I never know how it's going to go, and there's like student privacy issues. But I did
Well, you
live
just
stream.
gotta ask. I'm trying to get into the habit of recording everything, right? Like
Right.
that's what we're doing right now. Where you never know when that magical moment will happen, but if you just have There's something special to that, and I think it helps people who are learning understand really well is when they see like actual moment, like not like play educational moments, but like actual moments of
Yeah,
progress. And you know what I mean? Like there's
right.
some energy there that really helps, I think.
See, here's one where I was working with I think that's it. I think this is one where I was working with a student and we did some pair programming. Yeah, like this is the I did live stream like when we started the project, and it's crazy to look back and see how far we've come. Like this is the where it started back when I was still using Vim and not VS Code. So yeah, it's come a long way. But EJ, I want to answer your other question about the data. And so the bar chart, this bar chart here, check it out. I'm going to open this in
Oh
a
yeah, I
sec.
was wondering, so if I update the data in one place, like if I have an embed, like say I want to like put a mood embed on my homepage and then on some other thing, and then like if I like update my mood, will it update all the embeds downstream automatically, essentially?
Right.
Or like health data or elections data or whatever, anything that like changes that I want to have the same visual for.
Yeah, totally. So here's a good example. If I, oh, this is work in progress here. But if I go to this embed of this bar chart in the WordPress site, here it is. This is the viz in VizHub that's being embedded there. And this is the other viz in VizHub. It's a totally other thing that holds the data. And it's imported like this, import data from ./data.csv, which is a cool pattern, I think. So it hooks up with the bundler system. You don't have to do fetching. It simplifies things, and it also supports hot reloading. So check this out. If I go in and just temporarily change the value of India, let me see which column. Oh, oh crap, I have to pick the right column to change. Or, I don't know, let's say India. Where'd it go? Let's say if I change a letter here, it should update in real time in the bar chart.
Curse of the demos every
Curse of the
time.
demo. Shit.
That's why we do it. There's certain bugs that only pop up when you try and show it on a live stream. So.
Right. Let me try again. India. And the population is what? 14? That could be it. So if I add another 0,
Yeah, it should pop way out.
it
right?
should pop up. If I refresh, it does. Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's
there you go. Yeah, yeah.
well, it's supposed to happen
That's
in
sick.
real time. It happens in real time. It should be.
Oh, well, you're of course you want it to do more, but that's all I was expecting is that it would
Oh yeah.
just
So yeah,
update.
it definitely gets the latest thing if you refresh, because every time it refreshes, it actually does the import and calculates everything, pulls it all the way through. Um, it's
But
too
you're saying
bad.
in the future it would go even deeper and be able to do it like
Yeah, and
when you
even
save,
I
it
even
updates the embed.
yes, exactly. And I got that working at some point. I got to go back and check what's going on with that. It could be just a triggering issue. Maybe it's not like. Let me try one last thing. So India, if I change that number,
Cool. I just looked at the clock. We got 5 minutes left, and we have some people in the chat. Just want to open
oh
it up.
yeah,
I've been just kind of monopolizing on the time. If anybody has any questions or things they
good
want to
call.
talk about.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in and say thank you so much to the whole VizHub community, and especially to you, Curran, for being so instructive to me at the beginning of my coding journey.
Oh, thank you so much. I love hearing that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was. Did I do that? The clapping, or did you? I'm new to this thing.
Someone did. I don't know.
Oh,
It
No,
wasn't me.
Discord.
It's a Discord
it's like,
thing.
what
Can
is
you
that?
share your profile? I would love to see it. I mean, I think I've seen your stuff. I definitely have seen your stuff.
Oh, the link to the VizHub. Yeah.
Or just spell it for me. What is your profile name there?
Well, I could.
Or you probably have some
It's,
recent stuff.
Well, yeah, hold on. Let me. I can share you the link really quick. Just give me a second.
Yeah. Yeah, part of what I wanted to do is like, creator showcase kind of thing.
Okay, so is there like a chat for this thing?
There is.
somewhere?
It's in the upper right corner, show chat.
It should be in the top right, a little bubble icon.
Oh, here we go. Oh, sweet.
Oh yeah, Adventures in English. Yes, dude. I have been following your work, to be honest. It is
Thank you,
cool.
man. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Yeah, the VizHub platform, it was like my first like coding environment outside of like Free Code Academy, and it just made so many concepts click, and it was just so much fun to get my hands dirty in there. So thanks so much. Unfortunately, I need to leave. I'm actually about to teach an English class right now, so I have to leave now.
Well, thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, it was really awesome. Please feel
Yeah.
welcome to come through again, and thanks for bringing the positive energy. I really appreciate that.
You got it, EJ. Thanks, everybody. See you
Thank
later.
you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's cool.
Perfect.
Way to make things that have impact.
Yeah, right?
the name
I
of the
love
game.
that.
The hell?
What's that?
That's the sickest.
Have real people have real usage of it. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Let's go through his stuff now. He's gone.
Right? He's got some great stuff, and
What's he got
I
going
just
on?
love hearing that. He's got some cool, like, what does it say, lasso? Or
Wait, so
something.
are there like actual like questions in like the YouTube chat?
Yeah, is there a
I
YouTube
haven't
thing?
checked it.
I haven't seen anything in the YouTube chat.
I wanted to just highlight real quick two people. There's Matthias Stahl, who is doing some amazing work with Svelte, and he's, I think, using it as part of his course on Svelte and D3. He's a well-known, data
He does amazing work.
visualization. What's that?
He does amazing work.
Yes, it's incredible. And he's pushed me actually to make a lot of the features, like the full screen feature and the Svelte support, which is fed into the embedding work. So shout out to Matthias. This is amazing stuff, and my hope is that he can use it for his actual work. He works for Der Spiegel, which is a newspaper in Germany.
Can we look at the Svelte D3 starter on his page?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like what that's like. He has like an even simpler one, I think, with circles maybe.
Yeah, I'm following the forks back. In VizHub, you can follow the forks back.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. That was the one I was
And
thinking
this
of.
is it's brilliantly simple. This is wild. So there was some plumbing that we had to figure out at the top level, but this is, it's actually invoking the Svelte runtime environment from my vanilla JavaScript Rosetta Stone thing, which you could potentially wrap in a Vue component or a React component. So this is like cross framework stuff. But this is
we just got to teach the robot how to translate it in and out, and then we're free of being locked in any framework ever again.
Exactly. And the AI, I think, knows Svelte, so you could, ask the AI to do things in here too. It'd be pretty sweet.
All right, we're at time. Is there anything else that you want to go over? Any other questions?
That's about it.
This was really cool, really helpful, really inspirational, and I like how editable it is. Like, I really want to start getting into VZ code and sort of adding more prototyping tools there. I think there's a lot of like ways in which we can, I don't know. I like the ecosystem that you're building a lot.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much,
dude,
EJ.
it's sick, dude. Like, you're doing like really crazy stuff.
I'm really thrilled about it, and
You're
I want
doing
to.
by yourself what a lot of like companies full of engineers are struggling to do. So I think that's a really impressive feat.
Yeah, for real, dude. Sick.
Thank you so much, and I still feel like it's just getting started. I mean, there's so many things I want to do with the revision history and like API access, different export options, adding voice chat to the platform. Like, there's so
We're gonna
many.
have to do another stream where we like that was like all that made me have a million ideas, and I would love to like
Yeah,
learn how to. If you could teach me how to add a plugin or like add an
yeah,
add-on or something like that, that would be really cool.
totally amazing.
Cool.
Well,
Well, thank you so much for driving the stream and all that. That's really I appreciate it. It makes my life very easy.
my pleasure. And yeah, thank you so much. Hope you all enjoyed it. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.